One of the more popular series on my channel in the past has always been my Art of League episodes, in which I apply classic military strategies to typical games of League of Legends and occasionally everyday life. It was the first sort of series I ever ran, and there's a lot of people who credit that series as to the reason they subscribed to me or how they found out about my channel. Those of you who do remember it probably also noticed how I haven't released another episode in months, despite my most previous episode declaring how I would return to the series to finish it out. This is because the final 3 chapters of The Art of War are about 3 topics that don't pertain directly to League of Legends or are things that we've already talked about: terrain, attacking with fire, and the use of spies. However, after going back and rereading The Art of War myself, I have noticed there's been one topic I haven't really mentioned too much that hints at itself throughout the entire book. Today we're going to talk about that topic, so without further ado, I hope you all enjoy the Art of League finale. Sun Tzu's Art of War has taught us many things in our past 10 episodes. The relationship between a general and his troops, maneuvering your army, and of course commanding your forces with intelligent decision-making and a strategic mind. There's things that people from all walks of life have applied to a countless number of fields, from negotiation to business to poker, but ultimately they were written thousands of years ago for one thing: war. If there's anything people like us can take away from it, people who simulate battles called team fights, destroy our enemy's base called the Nexus, and command armies called Bronze Scrubs, if there's anything we can take away from it, it's the literal meaning of the words. If you're trying to lead a solo queue game or ranked 5s team, you should speak to your fellow teammates the way he advises throughout the chapters. You should position yourself on terrain as he tells you and maneuver your force as best you can using his advice. The only things that don't really pertain directly are things that aren't features in the game, obviously. All the advice he gives us can be applied one way or another to how we play and think about a game like League of Legends, but if there's one message that you should take away above all else, it's simply: everything's on you to be right. Now, taking responsibility is something I've talked about in literally hundreds of videos in the past, but it's different here, and the best way I may be able to show you is actually through Hearthstone. Hearthstone is something I enjoy playing at the end of a stream, or on a Sunday afternoon, or even just as a brain exercise. It's something that's always piqued my interest because it's all about knowledge. There's never a point in Hearthstone where you make a mistake because your finger slipped, because your mechanics weren't fast enough, because you didn't know a variable of the game, or because a teammate quit. No matter what point in a game you're at, there's gonna be a right move for you, and there's gonna be a best move. It's all on you and your brain to spend the time to figure out what that is. You know what cards you have in your deck, you know what class you're playing against. If you pay attention to the meta, you should have a good idea of the cards and strategies your opponent's gonna use. It's all on you, though, to make these decisions and make the best decision accordingly. Luck plays a part in the game, obviously, which makes it exciting, but ultimately all your right decisions will pile up and distinguish where you land on the ranked ladder. They'll show the difference between a player who's ranked 5 and a player who hit legend. It's all on you to make that right choice. Strategy type games like RTSs and MOBAs have a similar thing going on. There may be different ways that you can make a right decision, since there's going to be multiple strategies that you can use in these types of games, but there's always going to be good decisions and bad decisions at every moment in the game. There's always going to be a right choice to make, but in these games, you don't have a lot of time to think about it. League of Legends is not a card game, and a battlefield does not go by a turn-based system. If playing Hearthstone or a turn-based strategy game is texting your crush, thinking about your moves ahead, and planning them out on your own time, then League of Legends and War is calling them, putting you on the spot in a highly stressful situation where anything can happen, and you need to make snap decisions that could change the outcome. Ultimately, this is the difference between a good League of Legends player and a great one. Because League of Legends isn't about who's smarter, it's about who can perform. You can have the best theory crafter in the world who knows everything there is to know about the game. He could know every ability, how much damage it does at every level with every item combination, and know therefore whether he should engage or retreat at any moment in the game because of it. But what's really going to test that guy and determine how well he can lead his team is how he reacts when the enemy tries to sneak a Baron, how he reacts when suddenly someone dodges his ward and ganks him, or how he reacts when the enemy team does something completely illogical that feels like it's breaking his brain. Nobody ever goes 2v1 in solo queue. Who the hell is smart enough or strategic enough to try and swap lanes and give their team an advantage in solo queue? That never happens. But what are you going to do if it happens to you? You can be as smart as possible, but you need more than just book smarts to command an army, and you need more than just theory crafting to advance in League. Planning works in controlled environments, but in a changing environment, competing plans are going to collide, creating all sorts of unexpected situations. That might be the biggest and greatest theme of this book that he's given to the world, that makes you really understand how any sort of battlefield is going to work, because it does all come down to you. Your strategies will not save you when the variables of a game like this are changed completely by the enemy team trying to outwit you. Planning your moves ahead of time is all nice and dandy, but the best laid plans of mice and men always go awry. What Sun Tzu gives the world in his book, The Art of War, isn't a guide on how to make the right decision, but instead a tool set on how to come to the right decision. Generals will have plans that fail, situations that behave erratically, and things that just fall apart, but what really separates those who are written into our history books from the others who we never learn their names is their ability to find the right decision and make it no matter how much stress they're under. Ultimately, they know that they bear the responsibility of the outcome. If there's anything you should take away from this series, it's figure out how to react. There are many variables in something like League of Legends, and with two competing forces constantly colliding, they're ever changing. They behave incredibly strangely and erratically sometimes, but being able to always find that right decision and make it with your team is going to be what wins you more games, because ultimately it does all come down to you. Thank you all very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.